Welcome to our video on effective leadership strategies for managing remote teams. As the world becomes more digital and remote work becomes more prevalent, it's important for leaders to have the tools and strategies to effectively manage and lead their teams. In this video, we'll be sharing some of the best effective leadership strategies for managing remote teams so you can ensure your team stays productive and engaged while working remotely. So stay tuned and let's get started. However, before we begin our countdown, we would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe to our channel and also press the bell icon. Let's get started. Number 1. Create structures. Productivity in any workplace depends on predictability and structures. It's easy to disconnect when employees work in different locations. Mitigate this by creating team rhythm. There should be a clear timetable for meetings, and employees should know what different people are doing so that they have an idea of where they fit in the process. When creating this rhythm for remote employees working in different time zones, ensure that the burden of inconvenience does not fall on one member. Rotate meeting times so that the inconvenience of having a meeting either too late or too early in the day does not fall on one employee. It's also important to create structure within meetings themselves to keep them efficient and to the point. An example is this EPIC structure, which stands for Energy, Purpose, Insights, and Connection. This keeps team members focused and purpose-driven to assist with productivity during meetings. Number 2. Give team members the chance to input ideas. There's no dispute that you have to establish procedures and expectations for your remote team members, but each individual circumstance is different, and they're the ones who know how they work best and to get the job done. As such, it makes sense to get their input into how to go about creating this way of working. It's why Amazon CEO Andy Jassy has decided to leave it up to his teams to choose their own work practices. An example of an area where you may want to involve employees is the method of communication they prefer, or to set core hours for working and collaborating. Number 3. Focus on communication. When team members work in the same place as the manager, it's easy for an employee to walk into the manager's office and inquire about something. When working remotely, your team members may not always have an idea of where you are at a given time. Thus, you would want to be clear about how you will keep an open line of communication and remove any communication barriers. One way of ensuring that communication happens regularly is to block certain times of the day and inform employees that they can book short sessions with you during those blocks. You could then have a calendar so that remote workers know which blocks are taken. To ensure that everyone is clear about how communication will happen within the remote team, consider creating a communication strategy. This will determine the number of meetings you'll have with your team. In the strategy, look at such issues as limiting noises in the background, decorum around what team members can have in their backgrounds during video calls, and the use of meeting templates. Number 4. Clarify the rules. When you introduce rules to the remote team, be clear about what they mean. For example, using vague terms like properly and quickly may confuse people about what is expected. Thus, you would want to state what a one-day deadline means with regards to when it starts and ends. Number 5. Determine outputs, forget about activity. In the traditional work setting, as long as someone has clocked in and sitting at their desk and leaves at the agreed time, they usually consider themselves to have done a full day's work. However, in the context of remote work, the workplace and the home are no longer easy to separate. Thus, it is essential to focus on what is delivered instead of the amount of time an individual spent sitting at a desk. To determine outputs, there's a need for clarity regarding what should be accomplished over a given period. To ensure that tasks don't lag, create milestones that have precise deadlines and schedule meetings to follow up on progress. However, some jobs will require you to track the time that a remote employee took to complete them. For these kinds of jobs, you can find a time tracking tool. Number 6. Create well-documented procedures. One of the things that your remote team members will not be able to do with ease is to walk over to another team member's desk or around your office and ask how they should do something. One of your most important duties is to ensure that there are well-documented procedures in place for damn near everything. Ensure that all employees know where to find these documents and then use them. Guard against just telling team members what the goal is without providing them with an idea of how that task is to be accomplished. To make things easier for yourself, let the employees be responsible for creating the standard operating procedures or SOPs for their roles. Continuously update these SOPs as things change. Number 7. Check in often. When employees are co-located, it's easier for the manager to see that an employee is overloaded. You may notice that the employee is not taking their lunch or is leaving late every day. You don't always have this insight with the remote employees. If proper care is not taken, employees may end up getting overloaded. If you have no choice but to send a remote employee an urgent task, inquire about how it'll affect their other deadlines. The employee may then provide you with an idea of how much time they need to be added to the tasks that will be affected. Another thing you should encourage your employees to do is not to overload others with emails. For instance, a reply all can send communication to people that it doesn't concern. This gives employees the extra task of filtering through emails that they should not have received in the first place. Number 8. Include everyone. Even when you deal with team members in the same location, some individuals may prefer to take the back row. If you're not careful in remote teams, such individuals may disappear altogether. Thus, make an effort to get each team member to present something at each meeting. This does not always have to be work-related. It could be something as simple as asking everyone to say what the best thing that happened to them was since the previous meeting. We like to start our team meetings with a word and number. A word to describe how you're feeling and a number to gauge your energy levels out of 10. This opens conversations and encourages people to get involved. Number 9. Encourage social interaction. As a remote team manager, you'll need to come up with ways of ensuring that none of your team members suffers from social isolation. This could be done through the creative use of technology to create engagement. You could take a leaf from remote working platforms like Upwork, which has a virtual water cooler known as a coffee break, where employees can interact and share information and news. You could also look into facilitating the creation of employee resource groups or ERGs. These are a great place to build community, learn, have fun, and understand how to create more equitable and inclusive workplaces. Number 10. Find a tool for running a project. As the number of teams that work from home has grown, so has the number of project management software options. The benefit of a project management tool is that it gives everyone on the team a central place to find out what stage the project is in. The best thing about most new project management tools is that they let people talk about projects instead of sending emails. Anyone who has access to the tool can see what people are talking about. This makes it easier to find information and avoid asking questions that have already been answered. And that's it for today. We hope you found our video interesting. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and share it with others. Also, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our new uploads. In the end, thanks for watching and see you next time.